Hi, everybody. Kevin here. Sometimes there's people that we don't like, or that we're just not feeling the vibe, or we have a boss who is not the kind of boss that we want. Our job could be to go inside of ourselves, feel some resentment, and say sometimes brush off our resume, get ready for the next one. Or we can be outward and we can figure out, who is this boss? What are they like? Where'd they go to school? How did they learn this, that, or the other thing? I always say, to people that I like and that I have trouble with, how did you decide to become a? And they will start telling me a story, and when they do that, I start getting a little insight into them. Alfred Adler, the famous psychiatrist in the early 1900s, said, we have to see with their eyes, hear with their ears, feel with their heart. When that happens, that's how we really get to know someone. I was on a plane recently, and the flight attendant was probably 50 years old. He was very nice, greeting people, screaming children. It was Orlando, of course. And so they've had a full day at Disney, and now they're deciding, I need a nap, but I'm going to scream to get my self in a napping way. The woman next to me was an elderly woman. I think she was in her 90s maybe. She complimented the flight attendant on how he greeted people. And he then lit up and said, that is the job, isn't it? He said, I'm here for your safety, but he said, I love welcoming people onto the plane. Later, I was in the galley and I did what I normally do with flight attendants. I said, how long have you been doing this? And he said, 14 years. He said, I came to this later in life. And I said, oh, so you had a real job before this? And he said, yeah, I was in hotels and restaurants. And I said, that's not a real job. He said, boy, you're not kidding. He said, this job is really not only easy, but extremely fulfilling. I love this job. Now, we talked a little bit more. I started to understand more about why he was so good at his job. And so I'd encourage you to be curious. Ask questions. You don't have to interrogate. It's just natural conversation. And when you get it, remember, it's not about you. It's all about them. So be very, very interested in them. And if they say something that you think, oh, that's just like me, don't start talking about you. Continue to talk about them. When they leave that conversation, no matter whether they like you or not, they will feel heard. That is step one. I'm Kevin O'Connor. See you next time.